Have you ever looked around, seeing injustice after injustice, and wondered, where is Allah in all of this? It's not a new question, but each time pain strikes and it seems like darkness is winning, it comes up again. Here's the fascinating part. There's something much deeper hidden in plain sight, and if we're able to see it, it changes everything. Now let me tell you something profound. In every tragedy, in each moment when it feels like we're alone, there's a detail that makes all the difference. And that key, which history has shown us, has strengthened millions for centuries. You might wonder, how? Well, from the very beginning, Allah never promised this path would be easy, but He did promise to be there every step of the way. This means that our perception of His presence can completely transform how we face every trial. So before we go any further, I decided to look into why this apparent absence exists, and I discovered something we can't ignore: the power of patience, of effort, and of a direct connection with Allah in the midst of hardship. This is what enabled entire generations to find strength in the darkest moments. And here's the incredible part. This strength is available to you as well, and there are specific ways to tap into it. From here, we'll explore how even in the hardest moments, every trial and every instance of silence has a purpose far greater than we might imagine. Stay with us, because this could completely change how you view the challenges in your life. Let's begin with a story that perfectly illustrates what we're trying to understand here. Recently, a mother in Palestine lost her son right before her eyes. You might imagine that such a moment would be filled with screams and utter despair, right? But here's the intriguing part. In the midst of that heartbreaking moment, she heard an inner voice saying, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun," which means, to Allah we belong, and to Him we return. And here's the key. This act of remembering Allah, even in her pain, not only brought her peace but revealed something profound about Allah's true presence in our lives. This makes us think it's not just about enduring the hardship, but about understanding that there is a purpose in the pain. When faith is deeply rooted, pain becomes a reminder that Allah never abandons those who trust in Him. This is what allows people, even in the most extreme situations, to feel His presence, almost like a whisper that gives them strength. The interesting part is that this inner peace doesn't come automatically. In fact, here lies part of the test. How deep is our connection with Allah when the world turns dark? From this point, we begin to see that this strength isn't just emotional, it's so spiritual. And it's this that allows people to remain calm and even grateful, knowing that Allah is subtle in His wisdom even when everything seems lost. Now, if you're wondering how this relates to us, keep listening, because in the next part, we'll see how these acts of faith and patience can transform our own lives in times of adversity. This is just the beginning. Here's where things get truly intense. Many people, seeing the tragedy and suffering in the world, start to ask, where is Allah in all of this? And it's a valid question, especially when you see those who commit wrong seemingly holding so much power and impunity, while the innocent suffer. But here's the fascinating part. When you ask this question to people living through these trials firsthand, the answer they give is completely different from what we might imagine. For them, the question isn't where is Allah, but rather, where are the other believers at this moment? Where are those who should be supporting and standing in solidarity? This reveals something powerful. Those who are suffering don't doubt Allah's presence. In fact, they feel His closeness in a way few can understand. Why? Because they know Allah is with them in every tear, in every loss, and that patience in these moments is a sign of the strength of their faith. But here's the crucial point. The greater the suffering, the deeper the faith of those who trust in Allah becomes. Believers in situations of oppression and pain don't lose hope. Rather, they find comfort in Allah's promise. Injustice, though painful, becomes an opportunity to witness the power of patience and the certainty that Allah hears them and is by their side. And this leads us to an important reflection. If they, in the midst of the storm, can feel Allah's closeness, why do we, who are far from that pain, sometimes doubt? Now, think about something that might surprise you. The trials and suffering some people face are not signs of being abandoned by Allah. On the contrary, they are a profound call to patience and faith. Allah teaches us that by facing difficulties, we are being prepared and strengthened, drawing closer to a purer, truer connection with Him. Here's the key. In a place like Gaza or in any situation of oppression and hardship, many choose not to give up. Instead of questioning where Allah is, they find peace in their faith, in the assurance that Allah is present, even in the darkest moments. This same faith gives them a strength that, strangely enough, even those in safer situations sometimes struggle to feel. This gives us a powerful lesson. While some face incredible trials, they keep their hope and trust in Allah. It invites us to reflect, because every test we endure, every hardship, has a purpose we may not understand now, but in due time, it will reveal to us the true meaning of divine justice and Allah's plan. Now, let's turn to something that shifts our understanding. Allah's justice doesn't always take place in this life. This is a profound and powerful concept, as we're often used to expecting immediate results and quick answers. But divine justice reaches far beyond what we see or understand right now. Allah is the sole owner of the Day of Judgment, the moment when every action, good or bad, will be judged with perfect fairness. This means that while we may see injustices in this world, and while some oppressors may seem to get away with it, nothing escapes Allah's justice. It reminds us that suffering and trials in this life are not the end. Everything left unresolved here will find its answer in Allah's justice, and this should be enough for us to remain calm and steadfast in our faith. The takeaway here is simple yet transformative. Allah's power is complete, and He knows every situation, every injustice, every act of kindness. It's up to us to trust that even when the path seems dark, Allah's light and justice are closer than we think, and this is only a test on our journey toward the true reward. Here we arrive at a lesson that deeply resonates: the value of patience. When we face trials and injustices, especially prolonged ones, patience becomes our greatest ally. In the Quran, Allah reminds us time and again that He is with those who have patience. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves or staying passive, but rather understanding that there is greater wisdom in what is happening, even if we don't fully comprehend it at the moment. Patience, in this context, is not passive waiting. It's active waiting, one that drives us to keep our faith strong and not abandon our trust in Allah, even when the journey is difficult. It also means knowing that our supplications, prayers, and actions do not go unnoticed. As Allah tells us, He is always near to the patient, and when we endure hardships with a firm heart, that patience becomes a light guiding our way. So at this point, we are left with a significant certainty. Patience not only strengthens our connection with Allah, but also reminds us that we are being shaped and prepared for a greater reward, one that transcends this world and its limitations. This is a key point in understanding why Allah permits situations that may seem challenging or incomprehensible. In our lives, we face situations that lead us to question, seek answers, and sometimes even doubt. In these moments, we remember that as human beings, we do not possess the full knowledge that Allah has. He sees the complete picture, the beginning and the end of every matter. His wisdom is infinite, and what may seem like an insurmountable difficulty to us is, in his view, a temporary trial or an opportunity for growth. The Quran and Sunnah teach us that Allah always has a greater purpose and calls us to trust in His plan, even when we don't fully understand it. This act of humility, of acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, connects us directly to the deeper meaning of faith. True peace comes when we accept that, although we don't understand everything, we are in the hands of the one who never abandons us, who is always beside us, guiding and protecting us along life's path. Here we reach the final point of this reflection. How should we respond when we face situations of hunger, suffering, or injustice in the world? Allah teaches us that these trials are not merely obstacles, but also calls to action and introspection. They invite us to develop an attitude of patience, but also to strive to relieve suffering, both our own and that of others. Faith in Allah involves not only accepting His decisions, but also acting in His name, applying compassion and justice. As believers, our responsibilities is to alleviate pain in the world and support those in need. Charity, mutual help, and just actions are practical responses that reflect our commitment to His message. Therefore, instead of only asking, "Why does Allah permit this?" we should ask, "What can I do to make a difference?" It's an opportunity to demonstrate our true faith in practice and to reflect Allah's mercy in our actions. As we reach the end of this topic, one thing is clear. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, allows hunger and other trials to serve as powerful reminders of our vulnerability, our interconnectedness, and our mission as believers. These difficult circumstances are opportunities to strengthen our faith, deepen our empathy, and live with the purpose Allah has entrusted to us. Hunger and suffering invite us to reflect deeply and question how we respond to adversity in our lives and in the lives of others. So the focus is not only on seeking answers, but on taking action, transforming our compassion into tangible help, showing our faith through deeds, and becoming the assistance we wish to see in the world. As we face any challenge, let us remember that Allah is always close to those who are patient and compassionate. If you are going through a test, remember that every challenge is also an opportunity for spiritual growth and a reflection of Allah's wisdom. And if this video has inspired you, write Ameen in the comments.